Frostbite, Chapter 16. Lisa found me later in the day. I had fallen asleep after Manson left, too dejected to leave the bed. Her slamming of the door jolted me awake. I was happy to see her. I needed to spill about the fumble thing with Manson, but before I could, I read her feelings. They were as troubled as mine. So, as always, I put her first. What happened? She sat on her bed, sinking into the feathered duet, her feelings, both furious and sad. Christian, really? I could never know them to fight. They teased each other a lot, but it was hardly the kind of the thing that could nearly bring her to tears. He found her. I was with Audrey this morning. Oh, wow. I said, yeah, that might be a problem. Standing up, I walked over to the dresser and found my brush. Wincing, I stood in front of the framed mirror and began brushing out the snails occurred during my nap. She groaned, but nothing happened. Christian is freaking out over nothing. I cannot believe he does not trust me. He trusts you. The whole thing just weird. That's all. I thought about Trimit and Tasha. Jealousy makes people do and say stupid things. But nothing happened. She repeated, I mean, you were there. And hey, I never found it. What were you doing there? Adrian sent me a bunch of perfume. He? You mean that Jane box you were carrying? I nodded. Yeah, I came to return it. I said, the question is, what were you doing there? Just joking, she said. She started to light up, on the verge of telling me something, but then she passed. I felt the thought almost reach the front of her mind and then get shoved back. I have got a lot to tell you, but first tell me, what's up with you? Nothing is up with me. Whatever, Rose. I'm not psycho like you, but I know you were pissed off about something. You have been kind of own since Christmas. What's up? Now was not the time to get into what had happened on Christmas when my mom told me about Tasha and Remit. But I did tell Tasha the story about Manson editing out why I had stopped and simply driving home how I had. Well, she said when I finished. That was your right. I know, but I kind of led him on. I cannot see why he could be upset. You guys can probably fix it though. Go and talk to him. He's crazy about you. It was the more miscommunication thing with Manson and me could not be patched up so easily. I don't know. I told her. Not everyone is like you and Christian. Her face darkened. Christian, I still cannot believe he is being so stupid about this. I don't mean to, but I laughed. Liz, you guys will kiss and make up in like a day. More than kiss, probably. It slipped out before I could stop it. Her eyes widened. You know. She shook her head in expectation. Of course you know. Sorry. I said. I had not meant to let her know I know about the sex thing. Not until she told me herself. She eyed me. How much do you know? Not much. I lied. I could finish brushing my hair, but began playing with the brush's handle in order to avoid her eyes. I have got to learn to keep you out of my mind, she muttered. Only way I can talk to you lately. Another slip up. What is that supposed to mean? She demanded. Nothing. She was giving me a sharp look. I don't know. I just feel like we don't talk as much anymore. Takes two to fix that. She said, voice kind again. You're right. I said, not pointing out that two could fix that only if one was not always with a boyfriend. True, I was guilty in my own way of locking things up, but I had wanted to talk to her a number of times lately. The timings just never seems to be right, not even now. I never thought you could be first. Or I guess I never thought I could be senior and still be a virgin. Yeah, she said dryly. Me neither. Hey, what is it supposed to mean? She grinned, then caught sight of her watch. Her smile fell. Oh, I have to go to the Rizzler's banquet. Christian was supposed to go with me, but he is off being an idiot. Her eyes focused hopefully on me. What? No, please, Liz. You know how I hate those formal royal things. Oh, come on, she begged. Christian flaked out. You cannot throw me to the vowels. And don't you just say we needed to talk more? I groaned. Besides, you're my guardian. You have to do these things all the time. I know, I said darkly. I thought I could be maybe enjoy my last 6 months of freedom. But in the end, she cornered me into going with her, as we could both know she could. We don't have much time, and I had to do a rush shower, blow dry, and makeup job. I could bought Tasha dress on a whim, and while I still wanted her to suffer horribly for being attached to Dreamt, I was grateful for her presence now. I pulled on the silken material, happy to see the shade of red was just as killer on me as I could imagine. It was a long Asian style dress with flowers embroidered into the silk. The high neck and the long hem covered a lot of skin, but the material clung to me and looked sexy in a different kind of way than showing a lot of skin did. My black eyes, practically non existent by now. Lisa, as always, looked amazing. She wore a deep purple dress by Joanna Rusky, a well known Morai designer. It was sleeveless and made of satin. The tiny amastral crystal set into the strap sparkled against her pale skin. She wore her hair up in a loose artful styled bun. When we reached the banquet room, we drove a few hours. I don't think the royals had expected the Dragmorai princess to bring her Dampier friend to his highly anticipated invitation only dinner. But hey, Lisa invite had said and guessed. She and I took our places at one of the tables with some royals whose name I promptly forget. They were happy to ignore me, and I was happy to be ignored. Besides, it was not like there were plenty of other distractions. This room was done all in silver and blue. Midnight blue silk cloths covered the tables, so shiny and smooth that I was terrified to eat on them. Sconers of beeswax candles hung all over the walls, and the fireplace, decorated with a southern glass, crackled away in one corner. The effect was a spectacular panorama of color and light, dizzying to the eye. In the corner, a slim Morai woman played soft cello music, her face dreamy as she focused on the song. The cling of the crystal wine glasses complemented the string's low, sweet notes. Dinner was equally amazing. The food was elaborate, but I recognized everything on the plate and liked all of it. No foie gras here. Salmon in a sauce of shiitake mushrooms, a salad with pears and goat cheese, delicate almond stuffed pastries for dessert. My only compliment was that the portion was small. The food seems more like it was there to simply decorate the plates, and I swear I finished it in 10 bites. Morai might still need food along with their blood, but they don't need as much as a human, or say, a growing Dampier girl needed. Still, the food alone could have justified me coming along in this venture, I decided, except when the meal ended. Lisa told me we could not leave. We have to mingle, she whispered. Mingle? Lisa laughed at my discomfort. You're the social one. It was true. In most circumstances, I was the one who put myself out there and was not afraid to talk to people. Lisa tended to be shyer. Only with this group, the tables were turned. This was her element, not mine. And it amazed me to see just how well she could interact with Royal High Society now. She was perfect, polished, and polite. Everyone was eager to talk to her, and she always seems to know the right thing to say. She was not using compulsion exactly, but she definitely put out an air that drew close to her. I think it might have been an unconscious effect of spirit. Even with the myths, her magical and natural charisma came though. Whereas intense social interaction had once been forced and stressful for her, she now conducted them with ease. I was proud of her. Most of the conversation stayed pretty light fashion, royal love lives, etc. No one seems to want to spoil the atmosphere with idly strigoi talk. So I clung to her side for the rest of the night. I tried to tell myself it was just practice for the future, when I could follow her around like a quiet shadow anyway. The truth was, I just felt too uncomfortable with this group, and no, my usual snacky defense mechanism really were not useful here. Plus, I was painfully aware that I was the only Dampier dinner guest. There were other Dampiers, yes, but they were in the formal guardian mood, hovering on the periphery of the room. As Lisa worked the crowd, we drifted over to the small group of Morai whose voices were growing louder. One of them I recognized. He was the guy from the fight that I could help break up. Only this time he wore a striking black tux instead of a swimsuit. He glanced up at our approach, blandly checked us out, but apparently don't remember me. Ignoring us, he continued out with argument. Not surprisingly, Morai protection was the topic. He was the one who could be in favor of Morai going on the offensive against the Strigoi. What part of Susan don't you understand? Asked one of the men standing nearby. He had silvery hair and a bushy mustache. He wore a tux too, but the younger guy looked better in one. Morai training as soldiers will be the end of our race. It is not suicide, exclaimed the young boy. It is the right thing to do. We have to start looking out for ourselves. Learning to fight and use our magic is our greatest asset, other than the guardians. Yes, but with the guardians, we don't need other assets, said Silverhair. You have been listening to non royals. They don't have any guardians of their own. So, of course, they are scared. But that is not the reason to drag us down and put our lives at risk. Then don't, said Lisa suddenly. Her voice was soft, but everyone in the little group stopped and looked at her. When you talked about Moroi learning how to fight, you make it sound like in an all or nothing matter. It is not. If you don't want to fight, then you should not have to. I completely understand. The man looked slightly mollified, but that is because you can rely on your guardians. A lot of Morai cannot. And if they want to learn self defense, there is no reason why they should not do it on their own. The younger guy grinned dramatically at his advisory. There, you see? It is not that easy, countered Silverhair. If it was just a matter of you crazy people wanting to get yourself killed, then fine, go do it. But where are you going to learn all these so called fighting skills? We will figure the magic out on our own. Guardians will teach us actual physical fighting. You see, I know that was where this was going. Even if the rest of us don't take part in our suicide mission, you still want to strip us of our guardians to train out your pretendary army. The young guy scowled at the word pretend, and I wondered if more fisters could fly. You owe it to us. No, they don't, said Lisa. Integral gaze turned her way again. This time, it was Silverhair who regarded her dramatically. The younger guy features flushed with anger. Guardians are the best battle resources we have. They are, she agreed. But that does not give you the right to take them away from their duty. Silverhair practically growled. Then, how are we supposed to learn? Demanded the other guy, the same way guardians do. Lisa informed him, if you want to learn to fight, go to the academics from classes and start at the beginning the same way the non boys do. That way, you won't be taking guardians away from the active production. It is a safe environment, and guardians there specialized in teaching students anyway. She paused thoughtfully. You could even start making defense part of the standard curriculum of Morai students already there. Astonished stares fell on her, mine included. It was such an elegant solution, and everyone else around us realized it. It gave no party 100% of its demands, but it met most in the way that don't really harm the other side. Pure genius. The Mora students studied her with wonder and fascination. Suddenly, everyone started talking at once, excited about the idea. They drew Lisa in, and soon there was a passionate conversation going on about her plan. I got shuffled to the edges and decided that was just fine. Then I retreated altogether and sought out a corner near a door. Along the way, I passed a server with a tray of horse deer. Still hungry, I eyed them suspiciously, but saw nothing that looked like the fawn grass from the other day. I guessed it to one that looked like some part of braised rare meat. Is that goose liver? I asked. She shook her head. Sweetbread. That don't sound bad. I reached for it. It is pancreas, said a voice behind me. I jerked back. What? I squeaked. The waitress took my soup for rejection and moved on. Andrian Ashwok moved onto the line of sight, looking immensely pleased with himself. Are you messing with me? Sweetbread is pancakes? I don't know why that shocked me so much. Mora consumes blood. Why not internal organs? Still, I repressed a shudder and searched. It is really good. I shook my head in disgust. Oh man, rich people suck. His amusement continued. What are you doing here, little champion? Are you following me around? Of course not, I scoffed. He was dressed to perfection as always, especially not after all the trouble you have gotten us into. He flashed one of his tantalizing smile, and despite how much he annoyed me, I again felt that overwhelming urge to be near him. What was up with it? I don't know. He teased. He looked perfectly sane now, exhibiting no trace of the weird behavior I could witness in his room. And yeah, he looked a lot better in a tux than any guy I could see in there so far. As many times as we keep seeing each other, this is what? The fifth time? It is starting to look suspicious. Don't worry though. I won't tell your boyfriend, either of them. I opened my mouth to protest, then remembered he could see me with Drummond earlier. I refused to blush. I only have one boyfriend, sort of. Maybe not anymore. And anyway, there is nothing to tell. I don't even like you. No? Asked Adrian, still smiling. He leaned towards me like he had a secret to share. Then why are you wearing my perfume? This time I did blush. I took a step back. I'm not. He laughed. Of course you are. I counted the boxes after you left. Besides, I can smell it on you. It is nice, sharp, but still sweet, just like I'm sure you are deep down inside. And you got it right. You know, just enough to add an edge, but not enough to drown your own scent. The way he said scent made it sound like a dirty word. Royal Morai might make me uncomfortable, but smartness guy hitting on me don't. I dealt with them on a regular basis. I shook off my shyness and remembered who I was. Hey, I said, toasting my hair back. I had every right to take one. You offered them. Your mistake is in assuming me taking one means anything. It does not, except that maybe you should be more careful with where you dump all that money of yours. Oh, Joe's Hathaway, is that to play flukes? He passed and took a glass of what looked like a champion from a passing waiter. You want one? I don't drink. Right. Arjun handed me a glass anyway, then shooed the waiter away and took a drink of the champagne. I had feeling it was not his first of the night. So, sounds like your Vasaliza put your dad in his place. You are? I glanced back at the group I could just left. Silverhair still stood there. "Oh, that guy, your dad? That is what my mom says. You agree with him? How about Morai fighting could be suicide? Aaron shushed and took another sip. I don't really have any opinion on that. That is not possible. How can you not feel one way or the other? Don't know. Just not something I think about. I have got better things to do. Like stalk me? I suggest. And Lisa. I still wanted to know why she could be in his room. He smiled again. I told you, you're the one following me. Yeah, I know. 5 times. I stopped. 5 times? He nodded. No, it has only been 4. With my free hand, I ticked them off. That was the first night, the night at the spa, and then when I came to your room, and now tonight. The smile turned secretive. If you say so. I do say so. Again, my words trailed off. I had talked to Adrian one other time, sort of. You cannot mean. Mean what? Your curious, eager expression lit his eyes. It was more hopeful than perceptions. I swallowed, recalling the dream. Nothing. Without thinking about it, I took a drink of champagne across the room. Lisa's feeling burned back to me. Calm and content. Good. Why are you smiling? Adrian asked. Because Lisa's still over there, working the crowd. No surprise there. She is one of those people who can charm anyone she wants if she tries hard enough. Even people who hates her. I gave him a wary look. I feel that way when I talk to you. But you don't hate me, he said, finishing the last one of his champagne. Not really. I don't like you either. So you keep saying. He took a step forward towards me, not threatening, just making the space between us more intimate. But I can live with that. Rose. The sharpness of my mother's voice cut through the air. A few people within the earshot glanced over at us. My mother, all 5 angry feet of her, stormed us up to us.